Hey folks, and welcome to week number 11. First and foremost, obviously, we're finishing up stuff from last week, so revise and submit the SA3 final draft. You should have feedback from me on that by Monday evening at the latest, so you can have until Thursday then, of course, to turn it in, okay? So that's just finishing up that sort of stuff. And then we're going to start working on things for essay or text number 4. I keep trying to use the term text number 4. So we've got some readings for week 11. Okay, I'm going to show you those in a second. There's a week 11 discussion. I want you to begin those by Thursday and then obviously continue them through Monday. There are two things I want. One thing I want you to watch, one thing I want you to read. And then the text for ideas document, which I suggested we are going to look at in last week. Obviously, text 4's assignment is back in week 10. You're going to submit that. And then I need to change this because that should be Monday. I made a mistake there. My apologies. You need to look at your feedback on the text 4 ideas and then choose one idea and complete the rhetorical analysis worksheet for it. Now I'm going to go ahead and walk you through all of that here. So, in the readings section here, these are actually two pieces that were produced by former students in my class, okay? And then the week 11 discussion, you can use these pieces or the 3 things we looked at last week for the week 11 discussion, okay? So I talk in there about talking about the sample pieces. You can use the student pieces from this week or the professional pieces from last week for that discussion, okay? Both these are kind of audio texts. I know this one says it's a video because it was recorded as a video, but it's substantially just audio. So those two there again from previous students. There are 2 things I want you to engage with here. One, watch the video on Rogerian argument. All the argument we've talked about so far really revolves around making a case and trying to illustrate it. Rogerian argument is a different theory, a different way about making an argument. So it can be a really intriguing thing for students to work with. If you would like to take this on, I'd encourage you to do so. So please watch that video. It's just a quick video explaining what Rogerian argument is. And then there is a short chapter from one of our online texts here called The Complexity of Simplicity. What this really does is tries to walk you through how to get into a topic. So we think back to the podcast from last week on celery. A podcast on celery would have been really dull. The reason it was relatively interesting is it looked at the hidden history of celery that existed and was well known at one point, but has largely been forgotten. I didn't certainly know anything about celery to the degree that they talk about it. And I will note I grew up in Kalamazoo, Michigan, which they, of course, talk about in the podcast as the celery capital of America. I didn't, even having spent my entire childhood there, didn't know most of the information that they shared. Okay, so this chapter kind of gets into, like, how do you find something about that topic that is going to be interesting, okay? We want to avoid simply making an argument or simply giving information that your reader, your listener, your viewer, whatever, will already know or already agree with. We need to figure out what our goal is, and one of those goals we got to think through why we would do this. All right. So from there, we have the text 4 idea template. And please read that chapter before you undertake this, because that chapter might help you figure this out. The template that I want you to fill out is really pretty basic here. Topic and claim on the left-hand side, your goal on the right-hand side. You can just come up with as many as possible. Our goal here is just kind of the brainstorm. I can give you some feedback on what I think will work and won't work, and if it's going to work, how we might want to undertake it, those sorts of things, okay? Feel free to add rows to this if you want to add rows. You don't need to fill the whole thing up. If you only have one idea, that's fine. I think you want to have several so that we can kind of play around and see what will and won't work. But obviously, make whatever decisions you need to make about how to do that. Feel free to just add rows if you want to add extra, okay? From there, all you have to do is download, fill it out, and submit. So we'll see right here, just submit the text 4 ideas document here. I'm going to try to get your feedback on that right away. That's due Thursday. at 11 in the morning. My goal is to turn that around, get you guys feedback on that that day, maybe into Friday, because there's our submission folder for the Essay 3 final on Thursday as well, of course. This rhetorical analysis worksheet is due the following Monday on the 8th, okay? And so I want you to get feedback so that you can kind of hopefully choose a topic prior to having to fill out this rhetorical analysis worksheet. Now, this template we used before, but we used it when we were doing rhetorical analysis. So now we're going to turn this around and think about, okay, well, what's the occasion for my communication? Why would I want to write this at this time? You don't have to worry about publisher, of course, but the rest of the things should pay attention to. What are the purposes of the document for you as the author? Why might an audience member come to this? I want you to be using this. And again, we just fill in where the red part is. And if you are working on this in Word, if you just highlight red, anything that's red, and start typing, it will change your font to red. And then it's really easy for me to see the black and the red being your answers here, okay? Think about who your primary audience would be. What do we know about this audience? What biases or preconceptions they might have? This, again, is a thinking exercise for you to do as you prepare to write or produce this multimedia document for your audience, okay? So we're going to turn this template that we used before around, and this time focus on using it to consider what rhetorical tools are going to be most effective for us while we're writing. Okay? That's everything for week 11. As always, don't hesitate to reach out if you've got questions.